Welcome to a Friday Reads, where we talk about what I read, what I'm reading, what I hope to get to next, and I have finished 3 things, and I have no idea what I'm going to read next. I am currently in the middle of nothing. I don't really know why. I can't figure it out. I'm probably going to read after I film this, but I'm hoping I'll talk myself into something. Like, I've touched and dabbled in a couple things, but nothing has gripped me. But first, the first thing I finished since last time was The Subtle Knife. So this is my copy of The Subtle Knife. It is stunning. I love the simplicity of these special editions. And like, this is just such a cool representation of what we talk about in The Subtle Knife. Second book in his Dark Materials. I just love his Dark Materials. What can I say about the second book that's not an absolute spoiler? I mean, I already talked about last week how I just love the relationship between Lyra and Will. Those are our 2 main characters. Just how it develops, how they both have different strengths and weaknesses, and how they play off of each other, I adore. I really love the payoff of some arcs of some secondary strong characters, and how the world gets opened up in this book is so Angela-coded. Like, it is not surprising that this is a favorite series of mine once that world building opens up in the second book. The first book, it's more traditional, questy, middle grade, young adult fantasy. But like this is where it starts doing ideas that, like, I mean, at the time I didn't know I'd be obsessed with, but like, it really makes sense that the reader of this then went on to be a physicist, okay? Like, I mean, obviously not everyone who read this took the same route as me, but like, it's a core foundational text for my soul, okay? So yeah, I just love his Dark Materials. I truly do. One that I wasn't planning to read, I read it all in a day. I'm probably going to buy a copy. And this is because in my comments last week, I was talking about how I haven't been sleeping well. And thankfully, last 2 nights have been pretty good. And it's primarily, actually, ever since that video, largely I'm doing pretty well because I read this nonfiction, Hello Sleep. And I've always been very scared about reading sleep nonfiction. But the recommendation came from a commenter who has always been in my comments and has rarely recommended me books. And I don't know, she basically brought up how she had tried a bunch of different nonfictions, but this is the one that approached it from a unique perspective and also seemed to be the one that helped her the most. And so I was like, okay, let's try it out, because I don't like the sleep nonfictions that are fear-mongering. Like, I think, what's the one, Why We Sleep, might also not even be completely correct, and is a little more like, sleep is so important, you should get it. And like, I'm there. I schedule my day so that I can sleep. Like, I am not someone who's struggling to find 8 hours to go to sleep. I'm struggling to go to sleep in that time frame because my brain is a little awake. It's just a little bit of an anxious brain, and it is what it is. And this book was just super helpful for me. Like, it was both informative in a way that made me feel like I had agency and control, or I could let go of things and just accept it for what it was. But it also had actionable steps, and it did actually lean on a treatment that I already knew about, which is cognitive behavioral training for sleep. And so, yeah, it worked really well for me so far in terms of just helping me combat my, like, kind of intermittent insomnia. Because I don't think I'm as bad as some people with insomnia, where it's like weeks and weeks and weeks. For me, it's usually a couple days, and then I'm good for a couple weeks. But I really wanted to find a way to at least understand what's happening. And I thought this was super engaging and useful, but also literally I was just hyper fixated on sleep and how it works. I learned some fascinating things in this nonfiction, like the association between sleep and tiredness and how it's sort of linked to quality, but not really quantity. But even then, it's not completely clear. It's a little muddy. How, like, being tired is a lot more psychological than it is based off of just pure and hard-coded sleep numbers. Just like the idea that insomnia is not the same as being sleep deprived, which is very interesting and like can actually put a huge weight off your shoulder. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I do want to get myself a copy because like it is informative, but it's also meant to be read much slower than how I read it. It's meant to be kind of taken over a course of a month or two, and like each week you have like a new assignment. But I just couldn't stop listening to it as I was like preparing for my family cookout, and like I was doing a yard work, and I was just, it brought me some comfort. And so I was really appreciative. You know, I'm big on when a work can bring me comfort. So this nonfiction, doing great. And also it's great because I need to read nonfictions for her kid, and I just didn't think I'd read a lot of nonfiction. And this right here is a type of nonfiction I rarely read anyways. So yeah, I don't know if you'd put it in science nonfiction or self-help, because it's definitely a little bit of both. And then the most recent one I finished, and I had to finish it before the audiobook was taken from me, The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. This is my favorite Joe Abercrombie. It's super hot take apparently in this day and age, that this is my favorite Joe Abercrombie. It's like the Dungeons and Dragons movie meets Suicide Squad. So it is very questy. There are 4 parts, and each part has its own objective that will be met. The group of people is definitely, I don't even know if they're that unlikable. Like, the world doesn't like them. But, like, as individuals, these aren't like, I mean, there's like one, like, they're not even like all the same type of person, which is also kind of cool. I don't know. I love the characters in this book a lot. These are my favorite not First Law, but Joe Abercrombie characters. Part of it might be that they are likable. Like, maybe it's because I like some of them. Sunny's adorable. I love our elf Sunny, which also hard mode for the fantasy bingo. There is an elf in here, and there is a knight that takes a vow. So you got both squares there. Obviously you don't double dip, but if you are looking for one of the squares, this works for hard mode for 2 squares at least. So I love all the characters. It took me a little bit of time. Like, sometimes I think it's a little long. Like, I think if this was a couple, let's see, it's currently at 540. If this was like a 450 page book, I think it would be 5 stars for me. Like, as it stands, I'm pretty sure it's going to land at a 4. But I was feeling really good at the end where I was like, man, if it didn't have that slight pacing, 4.5, 5 stars, easy. I really like, it's an alternative history world. I like how the magic works. I like every character's inner arc. I kind of do like that it's like each part is like, okay, now we're going to do this thing. Now we're going to do, like, so the framework works for me. I think the narrator really brings it to life. I mentioned last week I did the audio. That is how I read this. I do think some of the dialogue and the repetition nature of some of the bits wouldn't have worked for me as well, just my taste, without the audio. But with the audio, it just worked. And I did smile and I did chuckle. And I don't think it's that juvenile, but, like, obviously humor is subjective, right? Like, for me, I just laughed at the audacity of it all. Like, it is just chaotic and audacious, and there's just a lot of grime and dirt. So yeah, I enjoyed this quite a lot. So those are the 3 that I finished. So now what am I going to do? Well, first, while I pretend to know that I don't know what I'm doing, like, ever at all, I did yesterday go to the bookstore because it was my mother's birthday, and I bought her a book. I bought her The Incandescent. Shocking. Nobody, I'm sure. And then I bought myself, because it was release day, Hemlock and Silver by T. Kingfisher. Have I read this yet? No, but it's a T. Kingfisher book. So here it is. Really bright green edges. And then I think, I know it has inset, but oh yeah. She just has such pretty books. So this one says, I closed my eyes and stepped through into the silver. Like, I assume this is a Snow White retelling a Jason story. I have no idea. And then we've got really fun end pages. I think they're both the same, but I just enjoy the quality that Tor puts in their work. Like, they're not so pretty that I can't touch them, but they're pretty. I am still, you know, like, when I first joined BookTube, everyone was like, I don't like deco edges, I don't like French print, or I don't know, there were like things that people were like bookish pet peeves. And I didn't have any back then, except for the inset, which is when you have, like, or whatever it's called, the step back. I don't like step backs. But no, my new thing now is I don't like sprayed edges. Like, this is fine. I think it aesthetically goes well, but I generally don't like them. So now that I've shown you that book, what am I reading next? Well, so the things I should be reading. I have read the first 3 chapters of The Sapling Cage. I'm not disliking it. I should just sit down and read more of this, and I might. I also should start my reread of The Unbroken. Both of these things are true. I have not started, touched, looked at Acceptance by Jeff Vandermeer, which is another buddy read this month. I only have 10 days left. Just those 3 things would make me full. But I already did a reread this month, and I'm not, like, really itching for a reread. And like I said, this is good, but it hasn't, like, captured me, and I kind of just want to be captured right now. And maybe that's partially because I've been doing a lot of work prep this week, and I just want something that excites me. And right now we are combating the fact that I'm knitting something, which I'm sorry, I didn't bring my knitting up here. Someone did ask to see it, and I will show you eventually. It is inspired by the Chris Evans sweater in Knives Out, but it's in a tan brown. So if you know cable stuff, that's what I'm working on, but I'm doing it top down instead of from the bottom up, which is what I did the first time years ago. It's very fun. The yarn is amazing. So I'm combating my want to watch Charmed and Smallville and knit. Like, that's what I'm currently wanting to do in my free time, but I haven't like sat down to read a book since I finished The Subtle Knife, really. So part of me knows that I can usually get my nose stuck in a book with this, and it's an anticipated new release. I kind of really want to read it. So like, that's tempting. And I do finally have Problematic Summer Romance on my Kindle. Also tempting, because I know Allie Hazelwood and our brains, they do a thing. So I don't know. I have no idea what to do. And then on the flip side, I kind of want to read short stories, but I'm not really prioritizing anything. I'm mostly just staring at walls, which I also don't mind. It's very, relaxing and cathartic, but I do want to pick something up. So I'm just trying to decide, am I in the mood for a standalone fairy tale retelling, adjacent with dark, quippy humor, T. Kingfisher? I do know what I'm getting from this, which is nice. But I think also I don't have an audiobook. So I currently don't have a physical or an audiobook. And so realistically, I think the audiobook is either The Acceptance by Jeff Vandermeer, or I do have the audiobook for The Sapling Cage, which I haven't tried yet. Maybe it's great. I do know Allie's been immersion reading it and really liking it. So that's what I might do. I might try audiobook, immersion reads. Maybe that'll give me momentum on this, and this is my primary. And then, I don't know, one of these two? Maybe the romance? I truly don't know my mood, guys. I'm not supposed to sleep right now or like nap, but I am like intellectually not awake. So it might just have to be I'm doing an audiobook and some chores tonight, and we'll see what happens. I don't know. It's been an interesting time. Like, I don't know why I'm suddenly slumpy right now, but truly my attention span is like, doesn't really like it. Now, in terms of other media, Ryan and I watched Fallout Season 1, and it's good. Gory, but good. So that was very enjoyable. That was more enjoyable than I anticipated. Like, it had good reviews, so that wasn't surprising to me, but I know nothing about the video game. And I just knew it was a sci-fi show on Amazon, which I was also dreading because the ads on Amazon, they're just another level. I know you can pay to get rid of them, but like, we barely use Prime, so it's really not worth it. Like, this was the first time I've used Prime in like years to watch something. I think the last time was when I was watching not the most recent season of The Boys, but the season before the most recent season. And we do want to get back to Invincible. But we're also like, we haven't picked up our next show. And Peacemaker Season 2 is about to drop. Actually, I think it's dropping the day you're seeing this video, so that's probably what we're watching next. So yeah, and I guess in terms of just like slight content news, I did film my interview with Cadwell Turnbull today. And so you will be seeing that soon. Not this week, but maybe the next week. I kind of want to pair it with recording a Should You Read for the series, so I need to put my thoughts together for that. And so, yeah, that was just very fun, though. Great author, great chat. So you have that to look forward to. It's completely spoiler-free, except for one slight thing, and that's not till like the 50-minute mark, and I tell you, so like the first 50 minutes are completely spoiler-free and just about the craft. And it was really fun, and he's so passionate about it, and I just love hearing people be passionate about things. So you have that to look forward to. I get to look forward to editing it just a smidge. We had some slight camera kerfluffles, because he used a very fancy camera, and per usual, as you know, watching booktubers, fancy cameras sometimes overheat if you talk for too long, and we definitely went on some tangents. Anyways, let me know what you're reading, doing, watching. If you just want to leave an emoji to let me know you're here. Oh, I don't know, a moon for Hello Sleep, because that makes me think of nighttime. And otherwise, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.